Of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Today we are welcoming Neil Bouray on to the show. Neil is our second King of the Ring contestant that we are welcoming onto the podcast to just share a little bit more about his story and his start in the auction business, what his life looks like as an auctioneer within the cattle industry. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this episode with Neil. Neil, welcome to the podcast. We are so excited to welcome you on as our second King of the Ring guest and to just chat more about you and your life and your story. So I would just love it if you could take it away and share more about yourself, your story, and all the things.
Thank you, Lauren, and it's a great pleasure of mine to be here with you and share my story and also be a candidate in the King of the Ring for 2025. That's something to look forward to each and every summer and coming to Dodge City. But so I am Neil Bouray. I make my home in Weber, Kansas, north central Kansas, right on the Nebraska-Kansas state line. I am a fourth generation auctioneer, third generation livestock market owner. I own and operate the market in Mankato, Kansas, along with 3 other partners. Have a great time. I mean, I love the livestock industry as a third generation livestock market owner. I mean, I grew up in it. I mean, my grandfather owned this market that I own today before I was born. So I mean, it's just the way of life. I mean, it's just the way it was, and kind of the way I got into it. I mean, I started. We also had a personal property, household, farm auction company. My grandfather did. I started just mumbling around, and started auctioning at the age of 10. And he was like, well, I think you need to go to auction school. And so at the age of 15, I went to auction school. And at that time, I went to Missouri Auction School. And at that time, you had to be 16 or have a chauffeur. So my uncle jumped in. He went to auction school with me. I mean, he was toying with the idea of becoming an auctioneer. But that's why the main reason he went to auction school was to join me. So come back home and you're in high school and you when you can, you make it to the barn, you sell cows, you do whatever, you scoop pins and all that. Graduate high school, and Grandpa says, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to run a sale barn. Got to go to college. Okay. Well, I'm like, 2-year community college. I can buzz through that. No big deal. Second semester, second year community college. He says, well, now what are you going to do? I'm going to run a sale barn. He says, nah, you got to get a 4-year degree. Okay. So I went to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, got a degree in ag economics. And about 2 months before graduation, he says, well, what do you want to do now? I said, I want to run a sale barn. He said, no, can't run a sale barn. You got to work for somebody else first. So I was like, now what am I going to do? I mean, this is what I've prepared for all along. And so my college roommates were from Southwest Iowa, and his dad was back, and we were running around doing cattle stuff. And he's like, hey, our bank's looking for an ag loan officer. I'm like, really? I can do that. So I went and applied, and I was vice president of a bank in Southwest Iowa. It was initially Randolph State Bank, and then they changed their name to Tri-Valley Bank in Randolph, Iowa. I was over there for 6-7 years. Loved every minute of it. I mean, made some of the absolute best contacts. I mean, I still talk to 2-3 of them guys that I met over there 3-4 times a week. Some of them daily. Loved absolutely every minute of it. The problem was when I was working in the bank, Grandpa sold the market. The good thing was it was to 4 people that had worked for him for a long time. My mom was one of them included, and she still is a partner and runs the office. John Russell was one of one of the buyers that bought my grandpa out, and he'd worked for Grandpa when he was 15. I mean, started trading cows and whatnot when he was at a very young age. Scott Green had worked for my grandpa for a long time, and then Bill Logan had been a field rep for my grandpa for 20 years. And I was back for my sister's wedding in the fall, and Bill caught me and he says, hey, this was in October, and he says, hey, I'm going to get older next year, and I'm not going to run that sale barn anymore. He says, January 1st, you better be back here and figure out what you're going to do. I'm like, whoa. I mean, it just hit me. It's like, it's time to go. So at the time, I mean, I come back and had played with auctioneering. I mean, at the fair, I mean, at the benefits and whatnot, I'd help auctioneer or take bids or whatnot. Still actively involved. I mean, very involved in it. Get back here, we had a full-time auctioneer. And I'm out back sorting, pushing cows, doing what needs done. It was, I think it was the summer of 2015, our auctioneer had had an oral surgery and took his bottom jaw and was no longer able to auctioneer. So I kind of stepped in, and really that was the beginning of me getting in and going and competitively auctioneering was that. And since then, I mean, I auctioneer. I mean, we've got another couple guys that help us, that do an absolute tremendous job. And that's what I've said all along. I mean, if there's a young kid that wants to learn how to auctioneer, come to Mankato. I'll give you a shot. I mean, I'm all about giving anybody that wants mic time. I'm not a mic hog. They can all have it. So it's a great time. My wife, I probably should have said that at the beginning. I'm married to my wife, Ashley, 11 years going on now. We've got two beautiful daughters. Berkeley's 8 and Andy is 3. Busy all the time. We are on the run all the time. Like I said, we run a market here in Mankato, Kansas. I also work contract auctioneer wise for Sylvan Sales in Sylvan Grove, Kansas every Monday, Unionville Livestock Market, Unionville, Missouri every Tuesday, and the Creston Livestock Market in Creston, Iowa in fall runs on Wednesdays. So I got a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday auction every week there in the fall. Come back here on Thursdays, get cattle in. Friday, have a sale here at home. Saturday, get them shipped out. And Sunday's a reset day and time to figure out what we're going to do the next week. So,
are you ever home, Neil?
Not very often. Not very often. And I do give a shout out. My neighbor, Matt Becker, is my neighbor and auction partner in our personal property, our auction company. He does chores for me a lot, and I appreciate it. And it's great. And I couldn't do it without Matt. So thank you, Matt.
That's amazing. Share a little bit more. What's it like to run and kind of operate just a multi-generational market?
Oh, I mean, it's great. I mean, we've dealt with these customers, and now we're dealing with customers' grandkids, and maybe some of them great grandkids since my grandfather was started the market or purchased the market in 1980. So it's been good. I mean, these producers we have in North Central Kansas that we get to work for, and not only in North Central Kansas, the producers I get to work for every week, whether it's in Mankato, Sylvan Grove, Unionville, Missouri, or Creston, Iowa, are top notch. I mean, I work for some of the best producers in the country, I feel.
1,000%. And I live in Manhattan, so I mean, I'm probably a little biased. I think we've got the best producers in the state in this area. We have a fun time. It's awesome. You were saying earlier that if any kid ever wants to have some time on the mic, to come hit you up, and you know what? There may not be a lot in Mankato, but there is an auction, and Neil will give you something to do. There's a little dive bar, I'm pretty sure, down the road, and you can have a mic at the auction block.
I don't want to take all the credit, but there's a young man that was in the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship this year, the past several years, but I gave him his first chance. And he was, you'll get to interview him yet in the coming weeks, but he was our extension agent here in Mankato, and he'd come up on Fridays and sit and watch. And I gave him his first chance. It's Barrett Simon. He'd come up and watch all the time. And anyway, he'd moved on from the extension and went to the Red Angus Association, and he'd moved back home to Rosalia, Kansas. And I was filling in at El Dorado one day, and Barrett caught me he come and watched. He always did. He caught me in the parking lot. He says, "Do you know anybody in the Wichita area that I could sell pots and pans for?" And I said, "Pots and pans?" He says, "Yeah." He says, I think I want to become an auctioneer." And I said, "Barrett," I said, "it's a lot easier to sell something with value than something that has no value." And he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "I've got a consignment sale next Sunday in Mankato." I said, "You come up and I'll let you sell." He said, I don't want to do that." He says, that's a little too much pressure." I said, "It's a lot easier to sell a panel at 100, 125, or $150 than it is to sell a box of pots and pans or Tupperware at $1." So he came up, he sold for us at the consignment sale. And I mean, I'm like, this kid's got it. I mean, he's got it. And about 3 weeks later, he came up and sold weigh cows. And 2 weeks later, I entered him in the Kansas Livestock Auctioneer Champion, the auction contest, and it was in Russell. And I can't remember. You'll have to ask him. He got third, fourth place. That's the third time he'd sold in front of a crowd. And I'm like, this kid's good. So I'll take the credit, Barrett. I got you going.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. We'll have to give him a hard time for it when he gets on. Be like, I'm going to ask him. He's probably like, we'll see if he listens to this episode. If he does, he's going to be fully prepared. I'm going to start out the same way. And then I'm going to be like, so I hear you have a little background with Mr. Neil. That wasn't part of your story. Tell me about
you left Neil out.
You left Neil out. What the heck? Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. Just share a little bit more about your journey as an auctioneer. You kind of took a little bit of what you could say is a traditional route for a lot of individuals graduating college. We all heard the same story from our parents and grandparents. Hey, we want to run the operation. We want to run the business. Nope, you're going to college first. And then graduate college and they're like, nope, you're going to go get a job with some benefits first.
Yeah.
You're going to start your life out there and then we'll talk in a little bit. And you took a very traditional route, but then you ended up still going back to the family operation and opening that back up to your family and your life and moving back to Mankato and doing all the things. So share a little bit more about that journey and that decision process that you and your wonderful wife went through.
You know, it was one of them things, and looking back now, it was the greatest thing. I mean, grandfather knew what I was doing and what I needed to do. I mean, I graduated college and I'd never punched a time clock for anybody. It's other than the market, and it was write your hours down, you're good to go. You know, I mean, but I'd never worked for someone else, and that was worth it. I mean, and going into the lending side of things was great, and it was good to be away from home. I mean, I didn't have to deal with customers when it was time to crack down. It wasn't my neighbor. It wasn't a customer at the market or whatnot. So it was good to be away, but it was also great for them, the connections that I made back there. And I'm, like I said, I still talk to a lot of them guys, and we get cattle from back there. I mean, there's some of them, my buddies from back there. They'll load their calves up on a truck, ship them to us. I mean, it's 3.5 hours, but it's some people that's not very far. In north central Kansas, that's a long ways to ship a calf. So, but yeah, we get some of them cattle from back there off of that, and it's. I mean, like I said, it was the route that needed to be taken at the time. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was the best thing that needed to happen.
And I think that's important, that what you just said, that it wasn't the path that you wanted, but it was the one that you needed to take. And I think a lot of people have stories that can relate to that. Can you share a little bit more about you were gone? Grandpa sold the business. What was that like, of kind of seeing your dream be sold? Luckily, it was still kept a little bit in the family, but it looked different.
Absolutely. It was heart-wrenching. I mean, it was like, that's what I looked forward to from the day I knew what I was doing. I mean, when I was 2 years old, I was at the market. I mean, that's just what I did. I mean, I loved it. And Grandpa retired and was ready to sell it. And it's like, you're going to do what? And I wasn't ready at that point. I mean, I was 2 years into a banking career, and it just wasn't ready. It wasn't time. And it was heart wrenching. It really was. But knowing my mother was still involved, was good. And it was, the way it worked out was great. I mean, it couldn't have been better. I mean, it just couldn't have been better. So, and I've got 3 of the best partners that a man could ask for. And everybody says, man, wouldn't someday you like to own a market without partners? I'm like, nope, couldn't do it without them. Absolutely couldn't do it without them. So it's just got to have help. You got to have good help, and we've got good help, and I've got good partners.
Yes, especially when you're on the road for half of the week anyway, going to other markets and doing all of the other things. And I think that's one of the beautiful things of, your story looked a little different than what you thought it was going to at 10 years old, but it all turned out exactly how it was supposed to in the end as well. Of, you're able to, like, if you had gotten it handed down to you, you probably wouldn't have opened yourself up to the idea of partners. And now you're probably able to run a better, more successful business because you have other people challenging you. You have other people giving their 2 cents and just pushing your business as it continues to grow too.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Can you share what's next for you? What's the future hold for you and your family? Do you have any future aspirations in the auction business? Kind of share a little bit about all of that.
I mean, like I said, my kids are 100 mile an hour all the time. I mean, we're this summer we've got, so my daughter's 8. We're in year 1 of 4-H. We have 5 pigs, we have 4 steers, and 1 heifer. We've got nominations in for the Kansas Junior Livestock Show. We got 3 pigs nominated. We got 3 steers nominated. It's like, we got to slow down because Dad's not home that much. But my wife does a great job. She gets the calves in the cooler. She walks the pigs. I mean, it just gets done. As far as the future with the market, I mean, we're clicking along. We're seem to be getting along good. The cattle numbers seem to be getting a little lighter in the country. Things are good here. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a bump in the road here before when you're not expecting it, but things are good right now, and we just kind of keep looking forward and dodge those bullets when we get there.
Perfect. Well, do you have any last thoughts as we kind of close this out, or any advice for others in the industry that you'd like to leave the podcast with?
As far as what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to the King of the Ring again. I've been contesting the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship with the LMA for 9 years now. Full nine. I've competed 9 times, and it's great, but it's stressful. This will be my third or fourth time in the King of the Ring, and it's not stressful. It's so much fun. The way the winner family does the draw, and we get to invert the draw and pick your spots. It's awesome. I love it. Come in there. It's just like you're sitting at home. You sell loads of cattle, load after load of them, and it's a great time. Younger people in the industry, find a mentor and get involved. It takes time. I mean, it truly does. That's like I said. I mean, I owned the market, and I wasn't selling my own market for 5-6 years into it. I mean, you've got to spend the time, do what you need to, start at the bottom, come up, but spend the time and do the right thing.
Yes. Oh, that's such a great way to close out our conversation today. Neil, thank you so much for your time coming on, sharing your story, giving just a little bit of your thoughts and your piece of yourself to everyone that is listening to this. We really appreciate it. And we cannot wait to see you next month at the King of the Ring contest. And as always, to all of our listeners out there, make sure you check out our show notes. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things, and check out the King of the Ring contest coming to Dodge City here in the next few weeks. So as always, have a great one, y'all. We'll see you next time.